How's it going, internet? Been a while since I've made some videos. Eventually, I'll try to get back into it. Again, just been really busy. I'm just making these quick one-off videos. Anyway, so a video came up the other day. I kind of had it playing in the background since I work right next to my desktop. I usually just have videos playing. And while that was going on, there was a video that came up, and I think it was Bad Boy Beeman, about Nadia and the lie detector. So I kind of have paid attention to it, and when I glanced over and looked, I noticed there's a few things off, and figured, hey, I've actually sat through a government lie detector, or lie test. So I figured, hey, I'll go ahead and kind of watch it from the beginning and see if there's, anything off about it from what I recall in my time. So back in 2009, when I joined the military, they asked for volunteers for this thing called DACA detail. And I went to basic training at Bravo 239 in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. No, it wasn't relaxing. Anyway, so in this video, I went through, let me go ahead and pull it up here. And I already pulled up a couple of Google searches relating to the lie detector. All right, so this is the video in question. I don't know where the full unedited version of this video is. But you can see he goes through and he gets her all seated and put in place. The thing he's putting on her now kind of measures your breathing, how long you're breathing, how deep of a breath you're taking, stuff like that. These are all things that will change whenever you're under duress. So he immediately jumps in and starts asking questions. The other thing I want to pull up here, her right hand doesn't appear to have anything on it, to whereas her other hand, you have these two fingers right here have, I believe, sweat sensor
Have you
pieces
ever
on
thought
them,
about that one girl in Vegas
and that's
who
it. So you can see here, she's got just these right here and nothing in the other hand. So a few things. With the as related to the equipment, you can kind of see 5 cables here. So 3 dark gray and then these 2 opaque kind of grayish ones. So it looks like one set that's together goes to these 2 right here, which I believe are incorrectly placed on her hand. So these should be spaced apart by 1 finger. That way they don't have a chance to potentially touch and read a false positive or anything. So the further apart, the better the control. So you'll see spaced apart, spaced finger apart, spaced finger apart. Can't see, spaced finger apart. Even in the example here, spaced finger apart. So that's the first thing that's incorrectly done here, is the sweat sensors should be 1 finger apart so they don't accidentally touch. The other thing, I can't really tell. We have the 2 cables going to those. 1 cable going to the blood pressure cuff. And I think the other cable, this opaque one, I believe is going to, in your seat, there's a cushion and it's got pressure sensors in it. It creates almost like a heat map, how you're sitting, I think. And let's see if any of these, I think there was one image that I pulled up. Sensors, measures body changes as a subject responds to yes or no questions, looking for signs of stress caused by lying. So it's going to kind of read whether or not you're moving around in your seat. So as you can see in this example here, there's a sensor pad on the chair or seat. You have the 2 fingers apart, the 2 breathing sensors, and a blood pressure cuff. So these are all your things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cables. So going back here, so the 2 things that are off, one, she has the 2 sensors on the 2 close fingers instead of 1 finger apart, and the other one, we can't really see if there's a pressure cushion underneath of her. I mean, we can only assume because she already had some of the equipment on by the time the video starts here. The other thing in question, there's 4 controls that appear to be out of place. Since no 2 people are alike, you can't take the readings from the last person and use those going forward. So for every new person you're running this test on, you have to have your control. How do I know when they're telling a truth, and how do I know when they're telling a lie? So you have to ask a series of yes or no questions like, what is your birth date? Is this your driver's license? Are the leaves on this tree behind me green? And just basically things like that. So once you have your baseline for when they're telling a truth, then you have to create a baseline for when they're telling a lie. So when you go through and you create a baseline for when they're telling a lie, you have to say things like, is your birthday, uh, December 25th, 2020? Obviously it's not, but you have to tell her to say yes. And as she's doing this, or this individual's doing this, telling you lies, it creates a baseline for when there's a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of duress. They're going to perspire just a little bit. Their breathing is going to change just a hair. Their blood pressure is going to elevate just a little bit. All these things are going to register on the equipment that he's reading with here, if it's actually working. And you're going to tell the difference between when they were telling a truth, and when they're telling a lie. And you're going to be like, all right, there's a little bit of variance here. And if it's closer to this, it's a lie. If it's closer to this, it's a truth. We don't see them do the baseline. So there's two controls that are completely out of the window. The other two things that are not in control here, that he should be, as a polygraph expert, should be in control of here. She's supposed to be sitting with her hands down, so she's not making as many bodily movements as possible. So every time that she moves around, it's doing two things. One, she's got a blood pressure cuff on. As you move around during a blood pressure test, what does it do? It throws the blood pressure results off. So as she's moving around, that is not even remotely getting an accurate reading for the questions she's doing. The other thing is, if there is a pressure sensor, if there is a pressure sensor underneath of her, then it's not going to accurately read whenever she's getting a little anxious, whenever she's feeling a little nervous. It's not going to properly read that. So the results and this guy giving her thumbs up, thumbs down, I mean, just looks like something from, Roman times when he's saying, let him live, let him die. He may as well just be reading tarot cards. I don't see, from what we see in this video, it's, she doesn't, none of this is being conducted properly. I would not take any of this video as truth. And it's just one of those, it's like one of those, $20 breathalyzer tests that you get at the, parts house when you're at checkout line. It's not accurate to any degree. I would take it with a very large grain of salt. And the fact that this guy is taking what some people consider a profession of being a polygraph expert, and he's just going around like it's a circus show and doing it for whoever pays him money, and basically telling them, yes or no, whatever the hell they want to hear. So, all right, that's going to do it for this video. That's all. I wouldn't accept those results for anything in there, oh, did I cheat in Warzone? Oh, no. Yeah, no. You go see a real polygraph expert, and we'll ask you that question again and see what happens. But it's going to be her in a room with two experts max, and it's going to be a completely different experience. And I guarantee the answer and the outcome is going to be 100% different. So that's going to do it for this video. I will, just been real busy lately. I'll try to get back to making videos again soon. Deuces.